They are the important or they are the predetermined goals which has to be achieved by an organization. So whatever the objectives you are going to frame, that should be attainable or it should be achievable. These objectives are nothing but they are the milestones to reach your target or your vision. Marketing objective says it may be expressed in terms of what? Percentage increase or decrease. Hello and welcome to all. Dear students, I George B.B.A, Commerce Faculty, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence, presents you the session 3 of Business Policy of Unit 1. In this session, dear students, we shall speak about or we shall discuss about the objectives, then we shall speak about the characteristics of this particular objectives, then we shall discuss about the factors of the objectives, then we have the types of objectives and the goal. Next is we are going to discuss about the goals. Dear students, before going to this particular session 3, recall the memory back, that is just give a glance or the highlights of the last session, that is of session 2, where I explained to you about or discussed with you regarding the strategic intents, that is the vision, mission, then we have the goals or the objectives and the plans. So there I explained to you what is a vision, that is I told you it is an image or it is the foreseeing of the organization where it has to reach. And what is a mission? A mission is nothing but whatever it has to reach according to the mission, it has to do that. That is the purpose of that organization. The existence of the organization is a mission, right? What they have to do in order to achieve that particular vision. Then I explained to you about the statements given by various companies, right? So in this today's session is about the third important strategic intent, that is known as objectives. What are objectives? Objectives are nothing but they are the important or they are the predetermined goals which has to be achieved by an organization. Objectives are the predetermined goals or the targets which has to be attained by the organization. These particular objectives are being defined by the top level managements. So the top level management, they will be defining this particular objectives, that is what they want to achieve, when they want to achieve it, how they want to achieve it. So all this will be taken into consideration under this particular objectives. So it is stated differently at different levels of management. So in management, these objectives are stated in different ways. Many organizations will be having their own strategies in order to accomplish the objectives. So objectives may be varying from one particular industry to industry or a company to company, organization to organization, or to an institution to an institution. So objectives are what, as I told you, they are the predetermined goals which has to be achieved by the organization. So they are the end results of the planned activity. Objectives are the end results because that is the final stage where the company will reach what they want to achieve. So it is the end result of the planned activity. Why we call it as a planned activity? Because you are planning to do something, that is you are planning to achieve something. So when you achieve that particular something, then that is the end of that particular plan. So there ends the plan. That is why we call it as the planned activity. It is a planned activity and that is stated in quantifiable terms. So how we are going to achieve it, in what ways you are going to achieve it, and whether it is in a quantitative or in a qualitative, right? And this objectives, they are very, very important and they play a very important role or a crucial role, that is in the organization at the time of doing this particular job, that is in enhancing the effectiveness as well as the efficiency of the organization. So in order to see that, to improve the efficiency as well as the effectiveness of that particular organization, this particular objectives are very, very important and they play a very crucial role. Now coming to the characteristics of this particular objectives, students, it says it should be flexible. It should be flexible enough. First is it should be flexible because whenever according to the circumstances and the whatever the situations arises, you can easily modify it or you can easily change over it. If it is not, then it will not be a very good objective. So it should be flexible enough so that can be incorporated according to the strategy or according to your plans. The next characteristic is it should be attainable. What is that attainable? It means what you are doing an objective, or you are forming an objective, or you are defining an objective where you want to reach something. Then if you are not able to achieve that, if you are not able to attain it, then what's the use of doing that particular objective or creating that particular objective? It's of no use. So whatever the objectives you are going to frame, that should be attainable or it should be achievable. Then it says it should be specific and unambiguous. It should be specific. What is that specific? Specific means that should be nothing but it should have one particular object or one particular objective where it has to reach. It has to have only one point where it has to reach. It should not have too many objectives, right? So it has to have one specific objective. Then only you can achieve that particular target or the objectives. Then it should be understandable by everyone. What are the objectives you are framing? That should be understandable by everyone in the organization. It is from the top level to the lower level. So the top level management will frame this particular objectives and they say that this is the objectives what we want to achieve. This is our organizational objectives. So all the other lower level, that is the operational level of management, as well as the middle level management, the subordinates, the managers, everyone has to work together and they have to see that they have to attain or achieve this particular objectives. But if it is not understandable, if that particular objective is not understandable, then how you can achieve that or how you can work on it? So it is not possible. So the objective should be very much clear, it should be specific, it should be reliable, then it should be understandable by everyone in the organization, then it should help in achieving the organizational mission and vision. So what is the mission and what is the vision of the organization? That should be very much going with this particular objectives. So these objectives should be able to attain the vision and the mission of the organization, right? Now coming to the factors of this particular objectives, it says the level of management. There are, you should understand what are the levels of management. You should take into consideration the various factors while framing these objectives. The level of the organization or the management. So it says the level of management. What is level of management? Level of management means what kind of levels you have in your organization. So that you should be able to focus on, and then only you should frame a policy, that is the objectives has to be framed. Then the size of the organization. Size of the organization is then what kind of organization setup it is, whether it is very large organization or a medium or a small organization. So taking this into consideration, depending upon the size of the organization, you are going to take into consideration and frame the objectives. Then we have the social responsiveness. Even you have to take into consideration the social factors or the response from the society. So what are the important aspects which you need to take into consideration while framing the objectives, the social objectives or societal objectives we call. Then we have the organizational culture. What is the culture of the organization? So you need to see what are the cultures of the organization, and accordingly you need to frame the objectives of that particular organization. So these factors are most important while making objectives, or you should decide when you frame the objectives. Then these objectives are nothing but they are the milestones to reach your target or your vision, and in which it will specify the terms on which the person has to work upon. So it will help in order to attain that particular target and within that stipulated time period. Objectives are the milestone where it will help the people, and it says it is expressed in terms of which a person has to do his work. So it will express how the person has to work upon it, and thereby how in what time it has to be achieved. So the time period also will be stipulated, or it will be mentioned here. Now the examples, here we can see the basic objectives Under basic objectives, we have the financial objectives as well as the marketing, that is market coverage. Now, what is financial objectives? Financial objectives is nothing but it says to achieve 100% growth rate, that is in the earning per share. Your main aim is, your objective is that you should attain 100% growth rate, that is earning per share. So this is your main important objective of the finance. That is, the financial objective states that your organization should see that it attains 100% growth in the earnings of per share. Then coverage, market coverage. How you are going to coverage, or how you are going to cover the whole market. So the market coverage is taken in consideration, that is to have 900 million subscribers. So you want to cover the whole of the people or maximum people for your products or for your commodities or whatever the objectives you want to achieve. That will be your main objective. So first is the financial objectives. It says to achieve 10%, to achieve 10% growth in the earnings per share, or it says market coverage means where it says to have 900 million people or subscribers for your product or for your commodity or whatever the things you are going to manufacture in your organization. Now coming to the types of objectives, we have various different types of objectives. So we'll take up one by one. First is the profit objective. What is profit objective? Profit objective is nothing but everyone knows that every organization is doing something or whatever it is doing, something where that is, it may be manufacturing or it may be selling or it may be distributing, whatever it is. So any organization you take, that particular organization is doing a business in order to attain and earn profit. So I'm not saying that profit means it should be in a larger scale or it should be in a very bigger manner. So a margin of profit is required for every organization, because in order to see that the survival is important in the market. If there is no profit, you cannot survive in the market. So every organization strives to see that it has to attain that particular objective of earning profit, a minimum profit. So it is the most important objective. That is, the profit objective is very, very important and the most important objective, because any enterprise, as I told you, it has to earn the profit. Without profit, it cannot exist in the market. Without profit, it cannot exist in the market. So the multiple objectives is a key areas where it has to cover, such as the market share, what will be the market share, and how about the new products development, the quality of the service. All these are to be taken into consideration in order to attain the profit or to achieve the profit or to earn the profit. So depending upon your market share, depending upon the products which you develop, right, then as well as your quality of service which you are giving, all this take into consideration, you have to see that you need to achieve the profit. So that is very, very important. That is the most important and the crucial factor under the profit objective. Now coming to the marketing objective. Marketing objective says it may be expressed in terms of what? Percentage increase or decrease. If your main object is looking towards the market share, or you want to achieve or attain more percentage or acquire more percentage, then if you are planning that I want to attain 10% growth in the market share, then you should work upon it. So that is very, very important. So market objective is nothing but it can be expressed in terms of the percentage increase or decrease. Increase or decrease. So they relate to the functional area. So how you are going to take the share? How you are going to increase your share? So if there is a very good products, good quality and a good service you are rendering, then you can attain maximum, that is maximum percentage. There will be increase. If there is low quality products, then your service is not good and customer will not be there for your market, then automatically your market decreases. Then how to attain the productivity market and social objective and the product objective. See, product objective is nothing but it says it can be expressed in terms of the product which you are supplying or which you are manufacturing or developing, and also the product diversification, branding, etc. Diversification means you are not only producing one product, but you are producing different products under one same brand name. and what is a brand, whether it is a branded one or a normal one. So even that will be taken into consideration while attaining your product objectives. Then social objective. Social objective is nothing but it can be measured, that is by providing the social service towards the society. Then it says a tree plantation can be done by an organization. Taking the advantage of this, you can attain the social objectives. Not only tree plantation, but also it says like providing a drinking water facilities like RO systems in the residential areas, right? And in the last class I told you at this time of pandemic, you can supply some of the food kits. You can supply the food kits to the people who are in needy. So this also will have a greater impact over your objective, that is over the social objectives. So easily you can achieve the social objective, as well as the development of parks, construction of roads, then electricity lines. So all this, if you undertake, these are the social welfare measures which can be undertaken by an organizer or by an organization or by the big industries. Thereby you can attain your social objectives. And what is your productivity objective? Productivity objective is nothing but it can be expressed in terms of input and output, such as how much is your input and what is your output. So if you're putting lot of input and getting less output, then it's of no use. So the production will be very less. So putting less and taking out more, that is a very, it is very much helpful, and also it is like a magic you are doing. So the input should be less, whereas the output should be more. So it is concentrating towards the ratio of input and output. Here the objective is stating the terms of cost per unit of production. How much will be the cost per unit of that particular product to produce that particular product. So to produce a particular product, what will be the cost per unit? So for example, if this particular pen, if you are manufacturing, what will be the cost to produce this particular one pen? That will be taken into consideration under this particular productivity objective. So all these are factors which will be influencing the reaching of an objective or attaining the objective or achieving the objective. Then we have human resource objectives and the financial objectives. Human resource objectives may be described like in terms of absenteeism, then turnover, then number of grievances, strikes, all this, and lockouts. All these are taken into consideration, or it can be measured in terms of this particular factors or the elements, such as the terms of absenteeism, then turnover. What is your turnover in your organization? Whether your turnover is very large or very big. Then the number of grievances, the complaints which you receive, from the people or the employees, right, or from the external factors. Then the strikes which will be there, or the lockouts which may happen in your organization. All these factors or the elements will help you to see that if you reduce all this, you can easily achieve your human resource objectives. Then the financial, that is the objectives which is related to the cash flow. So if you want to achieve the financial objectives, then you should see that the cash flow should be more. The inflow of cash should be more in your organization. Then it says the debt equity ratio. You should receive the revenue should be more. That is, the cash flow should be more, but the debt should be less. You should not be having more debts. That is, you should not be having more debts or the loans. Then what is your working capital? The working capital is a capital where you are going to use it for your daily purpose, right? That is for purchasing of raw materials, fuels, transport charges, then refreshment charges, then advertising charges, like this. Each and everything, whatever you are taking into consideration for day-to-day expenses, that will be a working capital. So working capital requirement depends upon the nature of business, the size of business, all this. So if your working capital is more, then automatically then you have to see that the expenses will be more. But if your working capital is less, then automatically you can see that it is also one of the factors which will help you to attain your financial objectives. Then what are the new issues? That is the shares and debentures of your companies, right? The shares and securities we say. Then the stock exchange operations, how your shares are increasing or whether it is decreasing. Then we have collection periods, debt instruments. Collection period means if you are given something on credit to a supplier, right, then you should get it back within that stipulated time period. Otherwise, your debt equity will be more. And debt instrument, what are the debt instruments you are going to provide? So all these are the factors or the elements which you have to take in consideration in order to attain your financial objectives. Now coming to the goals, the next important, that is the strategic intent. After objective, it is goals. What are the goals? Goals are the immediate results which you get. It are the immediate results which is expected in order to achieve by a certain span of time. So within a stipulated time period, you are going to achieve something. You are going to achieve something. That's what it says. It is an intermediate result. You are going to get something. In a short period, you are going to get the result out of that particular goals. So it is a target. It is a target where an organization wishes to achieve a long term. So this is a target where the organization needs to achieve in a longer run or for a longer term. Then it provides the basis for judging the performance of the organization. These goals will help the organization. It will help to judge the performance of the organization. How it will help in judging the performance of the organization? By giving the results, the outcome of the results of this particular goals, whether you are reaching that particular goal or not. Then goals may be classified into two categories. One is financial goals, then we have strategic goals. Financial goals are nothing but they are related to the return on investment. That means if you are investing something and you should get it back within the stipulated time period, maybe 5 years or 10 years, whatever the amount you are investing or even whatever the amount you are plowing inside some of the areas where you should get it back within stipulated time period or that particular specific time period. So if you don't get it back, then it is of no use of investing it. So that is a very bad investment or a dead investment it becomes. So you should get the return on the investment within the stipulated time period and the growth in the revenues. So your financial goals should be where you should attain or you should get back the amount or whatever the amount you are invested, the capital which you are invested into the business, that you should get back within stipulated time period, as well as there should be growth in the revenue. That means the incomes should be more. The income should be more. There should be lot of incomes or the revenues coming into the cash flow should be there in your organization. What is strategic goals? Strategic goals are nothing but they focus on the achievement of competitive advantage. They focus on the achievement as well as the competitive advantage in the industry. So here, this goal should be well constructed and realistic in nature. Now students, here we can see the examples of a well-framed goals. So what are the basis and what are their goals? So first thing is the customer service. So if you see, take the customer service, what are their goals? Their goals is what? To provide a quality service to the customers. Whenever you call the customer care, right? In customer care, you say, for example, if you take mobiles and the currencies which you have put currency for 100 rupees and within span of 10 minutes, your currency is 0. So what do? You immediately call your customer care and find out what is the reason, why it has been detected, why there is no currency is not there. So all this you are going to ask. So here they are going to provide the quality service to the customers, at least with par with the highest standards in the industries. So this customer care, it is not only for the mobile industry or for currency, we have for all different kinds of products, we have the customer care where the people will be answering the queries and the complaints will be received and see that they are going to give the best results. They are going to give the best results or the outcome will be the best and they see that they solve the problems also. So that is their goals. Then here community service if you take, this is nothing but providing the job opportunities. So this community service they will provide, that is the goal. The goal of community service is providing job opportunities which will promote higher standard of living for all the citizens. So when you provide job opportunities, automatically the people who are working, the standard of living will be high. When the standard of living is high, automatically you can find that the people who are or the citizens will be in a good status and their standard of living will be always high. So dear students, these are the important topics which I wanted to discuss with you and explain in this particular session 3. So just giving the summary, let us go back. First I explained to you about the objectives, the meaning of objectives, then what are the characteristics of an objectives, then I told you about the factors of objectives, then we discussed about the basic objectives. In that we saw financial objectives where it has to reach 10% growth in the earning, and market coverage where it has to have like maximum number of customers or the subscribers should be there for that particular company. Then we have the profit, that is we have the types of objectives. So under types we have profit objectives, then we have marketing objectives, productivity objectives, product objectives, social objectives, then financial objectives and human resource objectives. Then we came across the goals. What is the goals? I told you it is a immediate result where you get, right? And which has been expected in order to achieve the certain, within a certain span of time. Then these goals may be classified into, as I told you, financial goals and the strategic goals. Then I gave the examples for the goals, that is of customer service and community service. So students, coming to the end of this particular session, so I would like to just tell you that please sit for some time after the class and just recall your memory and memorize whatever the points I explained to you, whatever the topics I explained to you. Just keep some points in your mind and that will be helpful for your examination. So saying this, I will be leaving the session now. So take care, have a nice day. Thank you.